Hi everybody, John here, and today we've got a great question out on the community where somebody is asking, how do you go about setting a different reference qualifier for a very different type of task types that are extending off the task table? Now specifically their requirement is for the assignment group, and they're wanting to have a reference qualifier that shows ITIL and active groups for incidents, problems, SE requests, incident tasks, things like that. And then they also would like to have a different reference qualifier for change requests and change tasks to only show groups where the group type has change in it. Now, what I'd like to do is there's actually been some great responses on the community already. And what I would like to do is just give a deeper dive and show you exactly how I go about building these out. Because as the comments on the community have stated already, it is done through dictionary overrides. And the way you get to these dictionary overrides, as was shown on the community, is by going to a table that has the field that you're looking for. So I'm on the incident table, and if I right click on assignment group and I go to configure the dictionary, if I scroll down, I can see the dictionary overrides. Now we can see that it has incident and problem tasks and a few others in here. But what I'd like to do first is just kind of comment this top section, as we can see, is really looking and referencing and talking about the base task table. So if there's not an override, it's always going to inherit everything that's on the base task table. So out of the box, this base task table is going to have a reference qualifier for the assignment group where the type is either empty or the type is ITIL. And the goal in this is going to be to override this value. And so for incident, if I go in and I look at that, we can see there is nothing currently overriding it. And the requirement is to have this be ITIL, but also to look to active, whether it's active or not. And that out of the box reference qualifier didn't have active in it. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to check this, and we can see that we get a reference qualifier field. Now this is going to require you to either know the JavaScript formatting for the filter or you build it. Now what I'd like to do is just take a moment to show you how I build these qualifiers. Now the that reference field for assignment group is going to be looking to groups. So if we go to the groups, we can actually use the query builder to build out this reference qualifier for us. So we're looking for active is true, and the type contains ITIL. Now, one thing I'm going to point out is there's no option for is ITIL in here or equals ITIL, and the reason that this query builder doesn't have that is because ITIL in itself is actually an array an array field. It's got a list, the ability to hold more than one type, and so therefore as a group can be more than one of something, and it actually builds out that comma separated list of types. What we're going to actually be doing here is looking to see where that comma separated list contains ITIL. Now if I run this, I'm going to get that list of all the groups that are containing ITIL, but the real reason we actually ran this was so that I can come up here, if I right click, I can copy this query. Now I can then come back to this dictionary override screen, and that query is what we use then for the reference qualifier. So I'll paste that in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and update this and save it. And what that does now is, and I'm going to copy this and paste this into another notepad so that I've got this handy over here. I'm going to save this. And the reason I put this in Notepad was just to show you guys how this is working. So if I go back now to incident, and I just open up an incident, and I now look at if I say do show assignment group, this is going to show me my reference qualifier. And we can see that these are now the same. So active is true, and type like, and then it's got this sys ID in here, and these sys IDs match. So that has been updated. So the second component of this was to build out reference qualifiers for change. Now, as I mentioned, I don't remember if I mentioned this earlier or not. There is no type of change in ServiceNow out of the box. So I did create a type field of change. And so now I can change, update this filter. And when I run it, it gives me the one group that I've created and added it to. But the real reason why, again, that I ran this was so that I can copy the query. I'm going to come over here, and for change, we've got this new query here. So if I go back to assignment group and I configure the dictionary, we can see as I look down here for change request, there is not a dictionary override. That means it's leveraging and really using this base criteria. So we're going to override that by clicking new, and we're going to do change request, and I'm going to override the reference qualifier. And this is again where now I paste in this new reference qualifier, and I'm going to submit this. And now, if I go to a change, if I go to any open change, I can go to this assignment group, and if I show the assignment group, I can see that this one here has now been updated to this new value here, DDC4B. And then it continues on down to these values here. So this has been updated. Now, just to verify it, if I actually clear this out, remember when we ran this query here, we should get the same values now in return from the reference qualifier. So I'm going to clear this out, and when I click on the assignment group, I am just getting the cab approval, which is the only group that I created that has that. So you would then now go ahead, and for every table that you want to have that reference qualifier, you'd go back into that dictionary and create an override or update it for the table if it already exists as an override. And that should take care of it for you. Now, if you have any other questions, feel free to get back to me, and I will do my best to answer them. We'll talk to you guys later, and have a good day.